Hey folks, welcome back. It's another agreeable and probably aggravating episode of Whining About Pest Control. If you're just joining us, I am Shelby Hartzer of 360 Pest Consulting. And recently I had a request to talk about ants. And I have to admit, I hate ants. I'll tell you why, but first, to get into this topic, I'm drinking Reign of Terror Shiraz. So cheers. It's been a while since I had a Shiraz. I hate ants because to me, they are really hard to identify. If you give me a beetle with nothing but the head and an antennae, I can get it. Give me a fly with nothing but a single wing, got it. But give me a full intact ant, it's like my kryptonite. Part of this is because there's over 700 species of ants in North America. There's 22,000 species worldwide. That's a lot of species that you have to look very closely at in order to tell the difference. Then there's the aspect of their biology. Ants are social. They have those different castes. There's workers, reproductives, sometimes multiple reproductives, the winged reproductives. Depending on which species it is, there might be soldiers. And then the workers may have polymorphic forms, more than one size, or monomorphic, all one size. It's a lot. You don't care about any of this, so let's whine about control. That's what we're here for. Control does start with identification, though, because different ant species are going to be found in different areas. They're feeding on different foods. They have different biologies. But if we want to just talk broad control, all ants together, it really is about finding the nest. At any given time, about 20% of the individuals are outside foraging. That means 80% of the colony is sitting at home. They're not going out. That means you can eliminate those trailing ants. Maybe they're walking through the kitchen, but the main colony is going to survive and just send out more foragers. Now, sometimes eliminating those few is enough to solve the problem for a customer, but the problem's likely going to come back. It's just a Band-Aid. Don't get me wrong, Band-Aids can be helpful sometimes, but it still doesn't get to that underlying problem. This is where baits come in. Just like cockroaches, ants pick up the bait, take it back, and do the work for you. They bring it back to all their little friends in the colony and share. Because they're sharing through trophallaxis, yes, I'll put the link down below, that bait is getting passed throughout much of that colony. And soon enough, it's going to get to enough individuals that the colony is just going to crash and you've taken out the whole nest. Of course, that's easier said than done. You have to get the bait in their pathway. If I have a glass of wine, it's sitting there on the counter within reach. I'm not going all the way down the hallway out of my way for another glass of wine. This is right here. Same thing with ants. They're not going to go out of their way if they have a good source of food that's close to them. Some ants are really good at trailing. You'll see those little paths. You can get bait right in their pathway. Others are kind of more scattered. It's hard to figure out where they're coming and going from and getting that bait in their pathway. You can still do it though. Now, this brings us to the next issue. This is getting enough bait to eliminate that colony. I might find a nice bottle of wine to share with my 80 friends, but we each get like a couple drops of wine. That's not nearly enough for us. There needs to be enough available wine, bait, for us to share with each other, take to our friends, and then finally affect all of us. So unlike my little colony, the ant colonies, 80% are back in the colony. They're back in that nest. So you have to get enough bait to share with all of those. You can put bait around a fire ant mound, but if it only gets to 2% of the individuals, you still have a pretty active fire ant colony and probably some very upset customers. Now, as usual, all the other IPM tactics need to be used with any type of pesticide application. But if we're talking broadly about ants, it's finding that nest, getting the bait down, and getting enough bait down. And that's my whining about how I hate ants. So go grab your glass, properly ID your ants, whine to me about your ant issues because I can help. Share with all your colonies and workers, hit all those buttons down there for the following and subscribing and all that, and cheers to those annoying ants. I hate ants.